No matter what some people say, this is the MCG of the Eastern Football League. It's Borwin and Noble Park this Saturday in the final game of 2013, the Division 1 Choose Tap Grand Final. And we're all over here on the EFL TV agenda. Thanks to Ferntree, Gully, Holden and HSV, where driving and local footy means a great deal. Can't believe it, the end of the 2013 EFL season, the end of the EFL TV agenda, and we're out here at Bayswater Oval. It's the calm before the storm, and it is going to be a big storm on Saturday afternoon with Borwin taking on Noble Park in the Division 1 Grand Final. One man who simply cannot wait for this Saturday to come along is Peter Frosty Baird, and he's out here at Bayswater Oval. Frosty, this place will be packed here on Saturday.
Oh, it will, and it's going to be a buzz. We've got two powerhouse teams in the EFL going head-to-head. One of them's going to walk away with their third flag in the last 6 years.
Yep, I certainly will. And let's start to have a look at some of these, some of the team lineups and how it all might play out. And let's have a look at that Borwin back line. And they are just rock solid. The best back six, I think, in Division 1 by a long way. Crow, Mill, Hughes and Wright. Great key defenders as well. Great run-off halfback through Sam Filippo. Jared Goldsack been outstanding as well this year. So they're pretty sound down there.
Yeah, and Ben Turner's another one. He's been fantastic this year. Stevie Kenner gives them plenty of run off that half-back line. Probably play a little bit more through the midfield, though. I mean, they're just so reliable. Dan Donati knows they're going to do a job for him week in, week out. They restrict opposition teams to a minimal score. They're just a solid unit, and they're almost miserly in the points they give up every week.
The Borwin midfield is obviously one of the best going around in Division 1 as well. Led very nicely by Rennie Gilchrist going through the middle. Ryan McMahon is as hard as they possibly get. They've got all kinds of players that can run through there. Shane Tregear obviously pushes forward and actually kicks a lot of goals. A great sort of a variety of players that got through going through there.
They have. You've got guys like Ben Harris as well, who's as tough as they come. They've got a bit of outside class. Guys like Stevie Kenner gives them plenty of dash. The glove, Marco Regan, will do a job for Dan Donati on the weekend.
Who does he go to, you reckon?
I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. Does he go to a guy like Craig Anderson, who probably traditionally has been the shutdown man that you need to try and shut down? But there's probably been a couple of other guys from that Noble Park team that have risen to take on the challenge in the last few weeks. Guys like Tim Harper maybe might get a job, or Sam Monahan. He's probably the one I'd send him to.
Let's have a look at that Borwin forward line, and we've probably got the best centre-half forward going around in Jeff Goebbels, who Braden Ingram, of course, talked to on Tuesday night in Club Corner. Luke Barker, our boy, going very nicely as well. Jaden Hogle has been a very welcome addition, really giving him that small forward, that genuine small forward that can kick goals but also apply that great forward pressure.
And don't forget Blake Broadhurst come across from the Waffle this year as well. They've just got so many dimensions to their forward line. Alan Murray, he's an AFL player. Yep. I mean, he comes back. He's the heart and soul probably of the Borwin Footy Club, the way he leads the playing group. So, I mean, they've just got champions on every line. So it's going to take a hell of a job for Noble Park to try and shut them out of the game.
You've identified a few fringe players here, Frosty. Renwick Watts is in there. He'll obviously be the number one ruckman for the Tigers going through the day. We'll get some support from Ben Turner as well. But a couple of guys who might be able to make their way into the team this week.
Well, a couple of guys that have been in the team. Jamie Gottliebsen's been in the team for the last few weeks. I mean, he's a younger player. Yep. He really made his mark last year. Then you've got three that are really knocking the door down at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised to see one of them get into the side. You've got Matt Murray, Liam Fraser, Ed McCutcheon's another one. Yep. So, and obviously their second big ruckman, Scotty Houghton, he's going to stake a claim for a spot as well.
He's not a small boy, Scotty Houghton, not at all. Let's have a look at the mighty Bulls, Frosty, who will be going for their third premiership in 4 years, of course, after winning the 2010 and 2011 Division 1 premierships. Let's start from the back line, and a very reliable back line it is. Trent Robertson and Bob Kempman have been holding the key defensive posts all year. Great drive off halfback from our boy Stewie Kempman, and Tim Kelly is one of our favourite players to watch going around. Very impressive a couple of weeks ago, and he'll be key this weekend.
Yeah, they're going to have a big job on the weekend because they probably don't have those huge big bodies down there in that Noble Park defence. They're very fast. They can break off half back. Yep. They're going to have their work cut out because Borwin have those big key position forwards. So, I mean, this team, they play together so well. They've been together for a while. They work so well together. So, when they're going to have a big job on the weekend, they'd make no doubt about that.
Yeah, they'll have a big job on the weekend. Also a big job for the Noble Park midfield. And we mentioned a couple beforehand. Craig Anderson, Tim Harper, Sam Monahan running through that midfield as well. Plenty of options. Shane Allen is a guy who's really sort of stepped up and played played a lot more in the midfield this year as well.
And a couple other guys I really like. They bring some hardness and toughness to that Noble Park midfield. Guys like Brad Scalzo.
Oh, yes.
Daniel Keeley's come to the club this year. He's another one as well. You'll see them go through that midfield. Another hard nut, Tyson Mitchell, will get his chance through there. So, I mean, they're probably more workmanlike. They're not as flashy and brilliant as what the Borwin midfielders are, but they love a contest, and that's exactly what they'll get on the weekend.
Just on that, if it does become a bit of a scrap here in the middle here at Bayswater Oval, and it becomes a little bit low scoring, will that really suit Borwin? Guys like Mitchum and Scalzo, will that really suit those kind of guys?
I think it will. I think that'll play in the Noble Park's hands. Borwin are so good when they get the ball out in space. They're able to run and break the lines. But that was a trademark of where Noble Park got over Vermont on the weekend. They really broke that Eagles lineup open through the middle, through run and carry and linking up, using the ball well and sharing it amongst themselves. Tim Harper was fantastic for them last week. Sam Monaghan back to his best. And when those sort of guys overshadow the influence of Craig Anderson, who was brilliant as well, I mean, you know that the Bulls are going to be up and about.
Well, of course, you would have seen the great Noble Park forward line at its going about its business on the weekend. Brett Dorr named in the SEN Division 1 Team of the Year 30-man squad during the week, but he's got some good support there in Matt Dunn and, of course, Luke Mann as well. And Georgie Angelopoulos comes back into the side this week just to give them that little bit of pest kind of attitude. So they've got a great forward line up there, Frosty.
Don't underplay the effort of Bo Cosson last weekend. He came back
good.
into the side. He kicked 5 goals for them. He manned up Dean Millhouse, made Millhouse accountable for him, and that was one of the moves that really tore the game open for the Bulls. Vermont lost that run and drive off half-back through Millhouse. Cosson, he provided an option. He's really quick off the mark. He can put space on his opponent. He was great on the lead last weekend. Will Luke Mann come back into the side? That's a big question. He missed last week's game. And I love the game of Georgie Angelopoulos. I reckon he might be the X factor for that Noble Park 4. I'm just giving a bit of cheek, as you said. I just reckon that Noble Park people might have to put a bit of a gag on him during the week.
And a couple of fringe players, like you mentioned beforehand, for Borwin. They've also identified some for Noble Park. Renrick Watts was part of that for Borwin, and Virgum Fake is part of this little group here for Noble Park, I should say. And what a fantastic season has been for Virgum. He's certainly asserted his authority and taken on the #1 ruck role with aplomb. A couple of other guys might come to the side. Nick Williams, Craig Jackatine on the fringe there as well.
Yeah, you got Chris Horton-Milne, Daniel Galante will be looking to hold his spot. He was fantastic last week for the Bulls, but he's probably not in that elite midfield group for them. He'll be looking to try and retain his spot. So, I mean, Nick Williams might stake a claim. Mick Fogarty said that Craig Jackatine's going to come under consideration, as we said. Chris Horton-Milne maybe. So, I mean, there's options aplenty there for Noble Park. We might see a change there or two there as well.
Not only are the two best teams in Division 1 going up against each other, Frosty, probably and arguably the two best coaches in Division 1. From Borwin, Dan Donati, who's actually recently named the Central Region Senior Coach of the Year. Nice recognition there for Dan. And Mick Fogarty, who will be resigning from, well, he has resigned. This will be his last game for Noble Park this weekend. Two absolute ripping coaches.
Oh, he is. I mean, he's an absolute legend of the Noble Park Footy Club now, Mick Fogarty. He's won back-to-back flags with them. Yep. He coached the EFL Division 1 and 2 side against the amateurs early last year. Yep. He's just a fantastic coach. He made some of those moves that were able to swing the game around against Vermont last weekend. You probably got two of the best going head-to-head in the coach's box. Games are very rarely won in the coach's box, Ben. No. So, but these boys will need to be on their game on the weekend.
What about Dan Donati's strength? You read his application, which will be obviously in the Eastern Football this weekend, his application for the Coach of the Year. And it's not just what he does on the field, but he's just got such a great relationship with his players. He knows what they're all doing in their personal lives. Great with the committee as well. He must be a great person to work under, Dan Donati.
A man of the utmost integrity. He's a fantastic communicator. He gets the respect of everybody he deals with. He's a real players coach. He, as you said, he gets down, he gets friendly with them. Yep. He's hard on them when he needs to be, and he's a fantastic analyser of the game as well. So, I mean, I said we've got two of the best going head-to-head in the coaches' boxes on the weekend, and two former Noble Park boys as well. Yes. So they're good mates from their days at Noble Park. So it's going to be a really close game between two traditional rivals, this one.
Righto, Frosty, we have previewed every single game right throughout the Eastern Footy League season across all kinds of media platforms, but it all comes down to this one on the weekend. Borwin taking on Noble Park. How's it going to play out? And I know you're a bit of a fan of Noble Park. Can they do it against the mighty Tigers?
if they bring that game we saw after about the 10-minute mark of the second term last week, they can take it right up to Borwin. We saw them in the Queen's birthday weekend. They probably had the better of Borwin that day. Borwin just found that something extra to get them over the line. I can't believe I'm saying it. I haven't done it all year. I'm tipping against Borwin this weekend.
No.
I'm going to go with the Noble Park side. They convinced me enough last week. I reckon it's going to be less than 10 points, so it's going to be a cracking grand final.
It'll be a cracking grand final, but for mine, Borwin, you just can't go against them. But you're right. If Noble Park do play anywhere near that style of game that they played last weekend, they are every single chance.
You're not going to pick the Bulls and get Luke Barker to get you on another dare this weekend?
I've learned my lesson, Frosty.
And I learnt mine lastly.
Well, that's it, Frosty. We're done and dusted for season 2013 on the EFL TV agenda. But, of course, we've got our final broadcast for EFL Game Day this Saturday. It'll be Borwin up against Noble Park in the Division 1 Choose Tap Grand Final. Radio coverage from 1 p.m. and streaming coverage from 2 p.m. right here on EFL.org.au. This place is quiet now, Frosty, but it will be a buzz with excitement. And I think we're set for a really high-class, skillful game on the weekend.
It's the grand final I've been waiting for all year, Ben. Noble Park versus Borwin. The stage is set. Fantastic game coming up, and I can't wait to get out here.
Can't wait to see you back here at Saturday. Can't wait to see you next year for 2014. Thanks for tuning in to the EFL TV agenda right throughout the year. But this Saturday, make sure you're out here for Borwin and Noble.